You are live. Mm. Hello. Hello. Oh, when that movie came out, they picked that title to this Sidney Poitier, the black man, going to visit his Caucasian girlfriend. And the subject and the plot really was focused on the dinner that they had and the conversation. But that's what's lacking now, the conversation. We're not conversating enough. And forgiveness is not on the table. Yes, we have to be very careful these days because we have this thing called the internet, media, the radio, the television, Morse code. We got it all. And we're using it the wrong way. And that's only because the people that invented all this stuff invented it for the wrong reasons. You can say whatever you want to say. If you read the comments, people are real. I don't know if these grown up bullies or these just new come bullies and people, the strangest things, the strangest things. I had someone, I finally got an answer. I asked somebody, let's see, what was the, yeah, yeah. And see, this is what gets me too about these YouTubers. They get all these comments, and I know it'd be a lot of comments. Some of them are really big, but I don't see them addressing too many of these comments. Let me see. I asked this one person, Florida politics. I don't know why they keep going on coming on my news feed. Something must be going on. They tried to influence. And I noticed that back in the 2016 election year, they I kept getting all these news outlets on my YouTube, and they was really bringing up stuff that Hillary did back in the day, and see that's what I'm saying. Mostly everything now is just propaganda. It's not trying to. You're not conversating. They're not talking about things to heal America, thus heal the world, because I'm gonna get back to what I was just talking about this, but I heard them say, and every time they say it, it just makes my blood boil. When they call the president of the United States the most powerful man on the planet, what? Oh, something's in my eye. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm like, where did they get that from? And then they keep calling Elon Musk the richest man on the planet. Where is they getting this from? it's some kind of talking point that they trying to get in these people's mind, that whenever you hear this name, you stand up and pay attention. Crap. If you believe he's the most powerful man on the planet, I feel sorry for you. And if you believe he's the richest man on the planet, I feel sorry for you. And it's a shame that you would have that title, but then you're acting like 2-year-olds. That's crazy. But what I was getting back to, this person said, no, I said this because he was talking about Democrats, blah, 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 blah. I said, would you be happy if everyone was a Republican? His reply was, yes. Then we wouldn't have very much crime. So in some of these Republicans, they want to convince themselves that Democrats are committing the crimes. So they are blaming, trying to say that most of the pedophiles are Democrats. That is so stupid how they do that. It don't matter what your politics is. Okay, and then he said there wouldn't be disgraceful mental ill people trying to put other mental ill people pretending to be women in women's sports. Okay. Utopia could almost exist, almost all of the heat would disappear. That's a propaganda for you. This person listened to a lot of the propaganda. Only blame I don't know what's wrong with my Wi-Fi. Yeah. We are almost, how many times out the day do you hear pleasant, kind words? Generating a fifth grade education. There is people out there that speak with every other word as a cuss word. Or they talking about somebody. Just like out of nowhere, this woman gets on my page and calls me a clown. I said, what are you, a clown? Black people already have enough color. And she picked out this picture that I had this green lipstick on and stuff. And I'm like, I don't respond to people like that because what's the point? Why am I trying to convince you I'm not a clown? when you'd already perceived that, when you'd already came up with that notion. I'll tell you, we are living now in the time of when are we going to forgive each other? And you see, and now they brought out this thing about uh, this last memorial. Now, this, I don't know how in the world this is something that is not being taken more serious. When you have the president that they going around calling the most powerful man on the world. I mean, give me a break. I don't know how any religious person, Christian person, or whatever that could even with that. But of course, you can say whatever you want to say on your media platform. They was comparing the notes written by the current president and the previous president. Now, this is what they brought up. This is President Joe Biden memorial address in 2024. My fellow Americans, Jill, Vice President Harris, the second gentleman, Secretary Austin, General Brown, most importantly, the veterans and the service members, families, and survivors. We gather at this sacred place at this solemn moment to remember, to honor the sacrifice of the hundreds of thousands of women and men who've given their lives for this nation. Each one literally a chain in the link, a link in the stretching back to our founding days, each one bound by common commitment, not to a place, not to a person, not to a president, but to an idea unlike any idea in human history. Today we hear, today we bear witness to the price they paid, every white stone across these hills, and every military cemetery and churchyard across America. A father, a mother, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a spouse, a neighbor, an American. It's something that you would say when you are honoring people who lost their lives, who gave up their lives for an American soil. Because that's all it's about. Land. You're just dying for land because the people on that land is still treated like crap. Just like the black soldiers who there and died, but came back over here and still treated like third class citizens. They said people was literally hung with their suit on, burnt alive with their suit on. I read about this one man who came over here and refused to give up his seat while he was just coming back from war and was beat so bad he lost his eyesight. So they're dying for soil, not for the people being treated fairly. Now, this is Trump 2025. Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped radical left minds, who allowed 21 million people to illegally enter our country. many of them being criminals and to mental insane, through an open border that only an incompetent president would approve, and through judges who are on a mission to keep murderers, drug dealers, rapists, gang members, and release prisoners from all over the world in our country so they can rob, murder, and rape again. Okay. Okay. All protection by these USA hating judges who suffer from a ideology that is sick. Supreme Court and other good and compassionate judges throughout the land will save us from the decisions of the monsters who want our country to go to hell. Great progress over the last 4 months, and America will soon be safe and great again. Again, happy Memorial Day, and God bless America. Okay. Wow. Now, when you can't even take one day out of the year to act like a decent person, just pretend to be a decent person for at least one day out the year, when you are memorializing people whose families is left mourning and probably suffering too because of the loss of a loved one at war, or not have to be war. What kind of person is that? And you gonna call that person the most powerful man in the earth? That's not disgusting. It's scary that people would believe that people would actually believe that to be true. But what we need to do, in order to, it's time for us. We can't let it always be the people that go to war and come back torn and tethered and mentally deranged because of what they've seen in war. We could fight this. We could overcome this without bloodshed. First, by cutting off the propaganda, and then forgiving, and then forget. And it all starts at home. It all starts with the person in the mirror. You have to forgive yourself. And forget. It's not always easy. It's not always easy, but it's something that you have to work on for all your life. Now, I see a lot of these videos, they have all the stuff that Black people went through. Yes, we went through a lot of stuff. And nobody's trying to discount that or trying to sweep it up under the rug. But it's also time to start talking about forgiveness. Because we have to heal in order to have a country that is healed and therefore heal the world. And this is true. A lot of people, a lot of societies, which I don't know why, because we have proven that America ain't all that. If you see what's going on, but the only problem is in our society, in our neighborhood, in our state, that we can observe for ourselves, we will be better off. Because see, when we're looking at TV and we're looking at what's going on, they're going to only show you what they want you to know. And and read the news, your city newspaper. And if we have more town halls to talk about forgiving one another, because they want to keep us separated. It's 2025 and they still talk. Why is that? Because of the propaganda. Who is? It's a healing process. If we begin to commit to trust one another and stop letting propaganda news tell you that, like this one guy was saying, crime would go down. They got it in these Caucasian Europeans' minds that you see a black about to commit a crime. And that's one of the reasons why they won't let black people, for some reason, have their own news station. It's not about being a black news station. It's a news station that is ran by black people's needs and wants and news. And then this time, I want to bring this up too. These two movies that's coming out that got people talking. That movie Sinners. Why?
Playing from Tennessa's A14.
Why are we having a movie like that come out at this time and day? In the climate with it,
to gift yourself with some rejuvenating concentration.
What was the name of that movie? What was the name of that movie? About a black woman Straw. Tyler Perry movie named Straw. It's about a black woman that robs a bank. That's all I know about it because she's on a hard time. Why are we having these movies? We are continually pushing the narrative that black people are criminal minded. Whenever something goes wrong, the first thing they want to do, well, I ain't gonna say the first thing, because of course they gonna have her denied Social Security, welfare, food stamps, any kind of ways crime. Why the narrative couldn't be that she got help from a family member or a stranger and she moved up? No, people would not want to come. It's we've been conditioned to think that nothing good is going to happen to us. We have to feed that narrative that the world so we are in trouble. We are in trouble if we don't use our technology that we have to show forgiveness and forget. Forget in the ways of overcoming it. Been hearing a lot about our history repeats itself. Of course it is. When you still got the same people. I don't know, something is going on with this streaming service I have. I'm gonna have to get off of it because it's really starting to bug me. It keeps going in and out. And if we don't, no, they ain't coming up with a Black Panther 3 with Denzel Washington in it. Black Panther 3. Okay. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Uh, if we don't use these for forgiveness, and sometimes I listen to some of these YouTube videos or look at the news or read the news, I feel so helpless. Sometimes I feel like I just want to go take a drink, smoke a joint, nightmare. But then I realize Am I going to be a part of the solution or a part of the problem? And that's what they want us to do. Just like during COVID, they said alcohol consumption went up 100%. Oh, the wine. While our liver got worse. But yeah. That's why you see all these big businesses not saying nothing. They like, keep it up. Keep making these people miserable. So they're drink more, smoke more. And the little stuff that we really need to be paying attention is getting smaller and smaller. Where are these cigarettes coming from? Where are the chicken farms at? Yeah. And we're going to have to realize that we're going to have to stop going to fix the problem. And you know what the problem is? These domesticated that grew up with an ideology that is so outdated and so pathetic. And if we pay attention to some of these, some of our black politicians, what are they really saying? They don't seem so smart to me. Because I've noticed that the questions that they are asking, they're not coming up with solutions. They just following in line to make the other person look bad. We don't have to make them look bad. They're making themselves look bad already. For instance, someone was asking the Secretary of Education. It seemed like they would have had this stuff already in order, because when he was when he won to be unethical and not prepared for the job. So they should already had how they was going to approach these people. You have to approach these people in a different way. You can't ask them and talk to them like they know what they're doing, because they don't. And you got to already be prepared to get answers that are not answers, or just gibberish. So their questions should have been more like when they was asking the Secretary of Education, why did you cut funding for the mental ill and handicapped students? Instead of asking her that, you should already know that their answer is going to be non-answer. And what I wish she would have said, that by you cutting this funding off for these people that really is not going to really contribute to the country. And we have to realize that if you can't help yourself, you just going to be taken care of people that can't take care of themselves no more. And I can understand that you realize that this country is going in a direction where we have to leave these people behind. Am I correct? I mean, we have to get these people off their game. And we're going to have to make sure that we get the answers that we are searching for. It is psychological warfare to realize. They've already nominated people that is so unethical. They be caught in lies. They be caught doing things, and nothing happens to them. Because this is so weird that this man have this much control, have the House and the Senate, and have all these judges. It's crazy. And nobody's looking into it. Like they did when they lost in 2020. And still is talking about this election was stolen. They're not investigating this so-called fake ass assassination. Three times. And it's up to us as citizens, as human beings, to save America, the military, or no more, because we see how the military can be manipulated, propaganda, and you have extremists in the military. It's up to us to forgive one another and to forget. That we are living in the 21st century. That can claim descendants of slaveholders. The only thing that's left is the consequences of it, the hatefulness, the what you would call the benefits. What we need to work on is using all this communication and the conversation of healing. And we have to concentrate on making sure we vote an ethical, smart, strong president in 2028 or before.